This is the third edition of the International Conference on Domotics, Robotics and Teleassistance. This year we decided to change the location of the conference. We brought it to Barcelona in order to give it greater mobility and to give opportunity to other bodies, other institutions, and the involvement of other people, such as the Polytechnic University of Catalonia. Their involvement has been very important, and the fact of being here in this wonderful headquarters of ONCE in Catalonia is a clear added value to our conference. Okay, so let's start this opening session with the words of Teresa Palay, who is the person in charge of the regional government of ONCE here in Catalonia. Welcome to all of you. Welcome here. Dear Montserrat Bellarín, dear Sebastián Muriel, General Director of the Ministry, Mr. Crespo, the General Director of ONCE, and Jesus Hernández, the Director of Universal Accessibility Technologies, have these things. Well, it is a pleasure for me to welcome you all to this third International Conference on Domotics, Robotics and Teleassistance for all. For ONCE Catalonia, it is a pleasure to carry out and organize conferences of this type, because to all of us working here, we know how important new technologies are for the people with disabilities. This conference has the objective to get to know the new technological advances for the promotion of the independence of people with functional limitations, for the elderly and for people with disabilities. And we can say all in all that what we need is technology for all, technology for everyone. This year, ONCE celebrates the 200th anniversary of the birth of Louis Braille, a wonderful inventor that invented the writing in Braille, and that led to a revolution for the access of people with are visually impaired to the world of technology, leisure, and culture. He took blind people away from prehistoric times, and thanks to this Braille system, people are using it to open new doors to knowledge. But this will only be possible if we design services bearing in mind human diversity, the diversity of our society. Last Sunday was the International Day of Internet, and ONCE also demanded the need for internet to be accessible to all. Technologies can help us towards the access to all and the standardization of services for all, or it can also be an exclusion tool. And I would like to highlight the role of authorities, companies and universities, and also of the people affected. They need to work together in order to advance towards a more fair and equalitarian society. I hope that this conference is a success and that it helps us all to take one more step forward towards the standardization that we all aim to. Thank you and welcome to this conference. The involvement of the industry ministry through the different projects that ONCE carries out regarding accessible technology is very important. They have helped us in several Avanza projects, and they are also helping us in this conference as sponsors. And in representation of this ministry, we have the General Director of Red.es, Mr. Sebastián Muriel. Thank you all very much. Dear General Director of ONCE, Delegate President of ONCE in Catalonia, General Director for Universal Accessibility of ONCE, dear members of the committee, scientific committee, etc., and you all. Thank you for sharing with us this morning, and not just this morning, but the whole conference, in order to open and debate on experiences that we really think are very important for the development of information society. Our work from Red.es as part of the Ministry for Industry and within the Secretary General for Telecommunications and Information Society is in fact to promote the network society, a society in a network, that we believe it's a clear possibility to improve in social cohesion and extend the new technologies to all, regardless of their age, gender, location, where they live, whether in rural or in urban areas, and also regardless of their income and of their physical conditions. The Avanza plan has meant a clear commitment by the Spanish government and headed by the Secretary of State in order to make true this society in a network or network society, the society of information amongst all citizens, and for this to happen as soon as possible. The information society is the future, and here in Spain it's more than a reality. Between 2005 and 2009, the Avanza plan and Avanza plan 2 in 2009 has had a joint investment from the Ministry for Industry of over 6.5 billion euros, and to that we have to add the cooperation of the different regional communities, public entities, local entities, public and private institutions, and the business sector. And that means that as a whole they have added 4 billion to this, so we have a total investment of over 11 billion that, as I say, amongst all private and public sector, has meant a clear change that, regarding changes in the paradigm, the concept and in the model, means that Spain is at the avant-garde in many topics. Rather than talk about investment, I like to talk about or try to understand the results or the impact of this investment that we're promoting from the public authorities. Our National Observatory for Telecommunications and Information Society is working in order to analyze those indicators, and currently we are, and this must be seen as an opportunity and as a clear advantage, we are the fourth internet user community in Europe. We have 24 million people who connect to the internet, and not only they connect to the internet, but they participate actively in the network. Currently we have over 1,140,000 domains. That means that people want to be involved in the internet, and they want to make business, but also carry out leisure activities and relate to others through the internet with social networks, talking to others, and also adding content. There are also some areas in which we are in the avant-garde when compared internationally to other countries, and that allow all citizens to access certain services. For instance, the electronic ID. In some countries, like in Anglo-Saxon countries, there is no electronic ID. There is no digital certificate that is as extended as here in Spain. In Spain, we have over 9 million people that already have digital certificates in their ID, and this means that we are, in certain areas, as I said, in the avant-garde. This is a clear advantage as from an industry point of view, but also in order to improve the quality of life and social cohesion of our citizens. We do not want to stop here. We want to continue advances, and the Secretary General of Telecommunications and in the Information Society still wants to use the new technologies in order to improve the competitiveness of our companies, but also to promote social equality and to improve the quality of life and well-being of all citizens. The participation of all people is one of the key and strategic areas within the Avanza 2 plan. In fact, we have been working, and as Jesus mentioned, we've worked on the different areas of the ministry in different specific actions within the Avanza plan, which are aimed at the inclusion of specific groups such as the elderly, people that are in a dependency situation, and of course people with disabilities. I'm going to mention the specific activities and actions that we carry out from Red Red.es, which is the body that I currently head. And it's important to include this information society in our world, but we need to develop new products, new projects, always bearing in mind within the initial design and the initial concept, everyone in our society, all the different groups. And this is one of the conclusions that we drew from a study that we published about a year ago together with the Vodafone Foundation. It's important that when we design new products, new services, new technologies, we need to bear in mind not just one part of the population, but from the beginning we need to take into consideration everyone. And those are some of the actions that we're trying to turn into specific projects and specific products and services. And in fact, we are very proud to be sharing projects with many organizations that are very closely related to the ONCE Foundation and to the organizers of the seminar here today. I'm going to give 3 examples of specific actions that we're carrying out from Red.es in this type of technology. So I'm going to be very brief. Within the national framework of the transition for terrestrial digital TV, we are carrying out through Red.es and through the General Directorate of Information Society, we're carrying out specific projects in order to give greater access to people that have problems to access this type of technology. We all need to have decoders to access the new digital TV. The analog TV is going to gradually end, and so we are providing to specific people, the elderly over 75, the visually impaired, people with other disabilities, etc. We have provided over 130,000 decoders. Before this, we also carried out specific project together with Fundosa and Technosite in order to carry out a study in order to draw certain ideas that all the new players in the market should bear in mind when creating their decoders. So we are working together with the industry in order to have as soon as possible, and given that the process will last till April 2010, as you all know, we need to have devices that can meet the needs of all. Another of the strategic projects of this General Directorate for the year 2009 is to promote the use of the electronic ID. And from Red.es, we also play an important role